o'clock.
Jersey Central with Bert Barron on the new Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. From politics to entertainment, from social issues to lifestyles, from newsmakers to pop culture. If it's Jersey, it's on Jersey Central with Bert Barron, 732-545-9282. Or toll free at 888-545-9282.
Don't know what I was waiting for.
7:38 back on Jersey Central on the new Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey, as the world remembers and mourns the loss of rock star and icon David Bowie. We're going to have a special guest who joins me in the 8 o'clock hour to talk more about the man and his music and his influence, of course, so stick around for that. We also do have our contest on the way, a chance to win some tickets to see Stomp at the State Theater in New Brunswick. We'll do that in just a bit, too. Let's turn our attention now to the Raritan Bay Medical Center Jersey Newsmaker Hotline and welcome in the CEO of Piscataway-based Total Merchant Resources, who is with us here today to talk about some things we need to know about this gigantic billion-dollar lottery that is going to be on the line on Wednesday. Maybe you know him and his company from Shark Tank, recently appeared on there. Let's say hello to Jason Reddish, who is with us this morning. Jason, good morning. It's Bert Barron. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Bert. How's it going?
Good to talk to you. Thanks for checking in so early this morning. Really appreciate it. Gigantic amount of money on the line on Wednesday, Jason. We've never seen anything like this in the world. It's the largest lottery jackpot to ever happen anywhere, $1.3 billion, and who knows what it will be when it comes time to draw the numbers on Wednesday. Let's say, for example, somebody watching this and checks their numbers and says, oh, my God, I think I got all the numbers. Once they pick themselves off the floor and check the ticket 5,000 more times, what's the first thing you should do if you find yourself all of a sudden a billionaire?
Go to Miami, man. It's too cold out. But honestly, the most important thing to do is remain anonymous and don't panic and really make smart moves. There's a statistic I read recently, 44% of lotto winners are broke within 5 years.
That's
and
unbelievable.
I'm talking MC Hammer flat broke.
That's
I'm not talking.
Wow.
Not a penny. So
that's unbelievable.
You have to remain anonymous. You have 180 days to claim that ticket. So the best advice is sign the back of the ticket because they're going to go off of your signature and 2 forms of ID when you cash it in. And take that ticket and put it in the safest possible place you can think of. Probably a safety deposit box at a bank before you tell anybody what's going on, and go to work and act like nothing's going on until you assemble a team. I think that's the most important thing. You have to get a team together. You're going to need a lawyer. You're going to need an accountant. You're going to need a estate planner, and you're going to need a financial advisor. And the problem is, I mean, we're talking $1 billion, right, Bert?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, that's an unbelievable amount of money that the average lawyer, accountant, and, the list I just gave, they can't handle that kind of money. And there's few people that know people that handle that kind of money since, the wealth disparity is 1% versus 90.
Sure.
So you're definitely going to have to do your due diligence. And what I would suggest even more is you're probably going to want to hire a private investigator to investigate the people. And look, you got $1 billion, man. You got more than enough money.
Yeah, you're in some very elite company by winning this lottery. I mean, whoever wins this thing on Wednesday, Jason, they're first of all, they're going to be an answer to a trivia question for the rest of their life. Oh, who won the biggest lottery ever? And your daily exploits, once word gets out about who you are, and I like the anonymous angle. I don't know how long you can keep that up, but everything you buy, everything you do, every rock star you're photographed with is going to be front page news because you won this giant lottery. You want to avoid that, right?
Well, you could set up an LLC, and not to overcomplicate things, but you could collect the money, depending on which state you're in. You could collect the money under an LLC to try to remain anonymous. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, with a jackpot like this, I mean, the jackpot is what it is by design. In October of 2015, Powerball added 10 balls to the mix. So the odds were 1 in 175 million back in October.
Right.
Now they're 1 in, 292 million?
Almost 300, yes.
There you go. So they've actually made the jackpot harder to hit, which is increasing these pots. So these pots are actually by design, and I think over 150 million really gets everybody out to buy these tickets, which drives the jackpots through the roof.
And that's what it is. I mean, you want people, they want excitement. You want people talking about this, and you want the casual players to buy in when they see that big number. It seems like people that almost never play the lottery, myself included, will always spend a couple dollars when the jackpot gets this high.
That's right. That's right. And make sure you win in the right state, because New Jersey actually is the lowest tax state. So
thank goodness.
Welcome to the 40% tax bracket when you hit this thing.
Right,
and this is what you're going to have to start thinking about, where you're going to live and where you're going to die. Because in New York, if you hit, it's 8% state, and then you're going to pay another 3.9% city. You're going to get hammered. But if in New Jersey, even though it's only 3%, you definitely don't want to die here. Because on the way out, so you really have to start worrying about these things. Like Puff Daddy says, more money, more problems.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much, right? You had me when you said, well, just go to work the next day and pretend everything's normal. Could you imagine going to sitting in some cubicle or some job you hated, knowing that you're sitting on a $1 billion winning lottery ticket, and you need your boss to walk over and say, oh, you're 5 seconds late today. Come to my office. How long is that conversation going to last, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, well, that's the hardest part. And, when you have to start thinking logically and not emotionally, easier said than done, of course. It's going to be a great ride, but it's definitely something that you don't want to run to the store and run around and tell everybody. I mean, if you look at the statistics, there's been murders, there's been robberies. You're going to have there's a lot of negativity that goes with it.
I have no doubt, sure.
But if you're smart and you think and you just try to breathe and catch the moment, you have 180 days to cash that ticket in. So there's no need to run tomorrow, and you have the rest of your life to spend all that money.
Yeah, They even say, let the excitement die down a little bit. When somebody wins this thing in about 60 or 90 days, it's going to be so far off of the news radar and the news cycle. You could probably do it a little more quietly, right? It might not be front page news if you went in the next day and did it, right?
I think I would say you're right, but we're talking the big B.
That's true. Yeah,
billion. That is just so much. That is so much money. You're still broke to Mark Zuckerberg, but
that's true.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Jason Reddish is our guest this morning, CEO of Total Merchant Resources, and we're just kind of having some fun. What if somebody was to win that giant jackpot on Wednesday, that Powerball jackpot, which is over $1 billion? New Jersey, not a bad place to be. But when you die, it's bad because of the inheritance laws and the estate taxes and everything in Jersey. Jason, is that why?
Well, in Jersey, anything over, I guess, with that kind of money, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But in New Jersey, they tax you back to $1 over $650,000.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the rule of thumb. It's the worst state in the country to die, but it's a good state to collect.
Sounds like Jersey. Yeah.
So they'll get you out or they'll get you in somewhere.
Sounds like us.
Hey, if paying taxes is your biggest problem in life.
Yeah, this is true, right? Yeah. Now, I'm a real charitable guy, Jason. I do a lot of work for Easter Seals and Susan G. Komen. And I do a lot of work for a lot of charities here in Jersey. What if I was to just give them big sums of money? Is that a good idea? And is there a limit as to how much I could give?
Well, I definitely think you want a diversified plan. And, yeah, you've done great work with the foster children as well. I commend you on that.
Thank you.
I definitely would say that you don't want to start spending money, even with that kind of money. It's funny. When the jackpot's $300 or $400 million, I always say you can go broke. To lose $1 billion, right. You really have to be reckless.
It takes an effort, right? Yes.
You have to have a plan, and that's the most important thing. And I would definitely, with that kind of money, you have to give to charity. You'll have deductions. Besides the deductions, that's a lot of money, and there's a lot of people in the world right now.
Absolutely.
This is the best time to have that kind of money with what's going on in the world.
True.
But if you have a plan, first off, I think you should take the annuity. You probably don't want to go for the lump sum. That's how you'll go broke. If you spread it out, at least it gives you some time to have money annually.
And it protects you, right? You're protected from becoming your own worst enemy by just burning through all the cash, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And you'll get smarter with newfound wealth. The new money, as they call it. You need practice. You definitely need practice at having wealth because it's going to be new to you. And even if you already, are somewhat successful or, upper middle class, $1 billion is beyond imagination. But there's smart things you can do. You can put them in tax-free muni bonds. There was a statistic about Donald Trump that he inherited $40 million in 1974.
Mm-hmm.
And if he just put it in the S&P 500 and reinvested the dividends, he'd have the same net worth today.
Wow.
So, you could put it in the S&P 500, but equities right now, they're hurting. So you want to have a diversified plan where you're going to allocate towards charities. And once you have that allocation, that's when you could figure out who you're going to give to. And, then you have to be careful the charities you give to, obviously. That opens up a whole nother can of worms, right?
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's win the thing first, and then we'll decide what to do. But talk about Total Merchant Resources, Jason. Talk about your company and what you guys do.
Well, we provide working capital to businesses from coast to coast. We have obviously a lot of business in the tri-state area because that's where we operate out of. And, we're in a climate now where the banks haven't really done much for small business, and 65% of our economy is pretty much the small businessman.
Yeah.
And as you can see lately, jobs are being created, which is great. We have a 5% unemployment. But the jobs that are being created are really, they're not great jobs. They're lower paying jobs. It's forcing people to be more entrepreneurial and open a business. And, when you do that, you're going to need working capital at one point in your, no matter what, you're going to need money. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to need expansion. And we offer those solutions in a very quick and easy process. The application, you can go to the website at totalmerchantresources.com. It's a very simple one-page application, and we customize the money to the business because, the last thing, Bert, you want to do with a business is give a business money and then hurt them even more when they have to pay you back.
Yeah, of course. Talk about the experience about being on Shark Tank. What was that like for you guys?
Oh, that was a blast. The only analogy I can use, it's sort of like getting into a fight after high school, and you're sitting there all day, terrified. And
that's beautiful.
You get out at 3:00, you get that first hit in the face, and you're like, "All right, I can get through this. It's not as bad as it
You
seems."
took me back to grade school with that one, man, and fights on the kickball field.
3:00 high. But
wow.
the whole experience was just, it's a Mark Burnett production, so it's a well-oiled machine, and the exposure was priceless. Merchant cash advance before we went on Shark Tank really wasn't that popular. We would speak to businesses and they wouldn't really even believe us.
Wow.
But after we went on that show, it was a catalyst. You had companies like On Deck go public. It really legitimized the industry and put our industry on the map.
Well, good for you guys. That's great stuff.
Great experience.
Yeah, continued success, by the way, with Total Merchant Resources online, totalmerchantresources.com. Jason Reddish, great to talk to you. Some wonderful information this morning. And if I win this thing, I'll call you back, all right?
And vice versa, man. I'll buy you a Porsche, just like Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Have a good day, sir. Thanks a lot.
Too, man. Bye-bye.
All right, there he goes. Jason Reddish, my guest.